This is One-on-One. There he is, Michael Drullis, Executive Director, New Jersey Coalition for Financial Education. Michael, how you doing?
Doing really well, thank you. And you?
I'm doing great. Listen, do we really need financial education? Don't we know everything we need to know about this stuff?
Financial literacy is critical. It's critical.
And we do need to know a lot.
We do.
Particularly about debt. Can we talk debt?
Yes, yes.
We get into it all the time. We got to get out of it.
Correct.
So, Georgette, are we going to talk about how to get out of it? Is that okay? All right. Good and bad debt, right? You ready to do this? We're going to put up some graphics, and you're going to walk us through it, and you're going to make sense of this. Let's put up the first graphic. Let's go. All right. Strategies to get out of debt. Determine what is your good and bad debt. What does that mean?
So, debt is a way of life. Everyone has debt, and it's something we should be embarrassed to talk about. You have your mortgages, you have your car payments, and as long as those were thoughtfully put together, you can afford them based on the money you make.
Right.
But then you have your bad debt, the one that tends to creep up on you, maybe the credit card debt, the revolving debt, that gets slammed with interest rates.
Just the kind, when I met my wife when we were getting married, she told me about right before we got married?
Possibly.
I'm sorry. Was I not supposed to say that on the air? Steve, you laughing? Okay, that's Steve Barcy laughing because he knows what I'm talking about. That's not good debt.
Not good debt.
But how do you avoid that?
Well, that's where you want to make sure you have good spending plans, and we can talk a little bit about that as well. But it's a decision and choices you make. Living on a budget, spending plan, budget. The words affect people differently.
And by the way, should we sometimes not use credit cards?
Credit cards have their place.
They have their place.
They have their place.
But they're not for everything.
They're not for everything. And
what are they not for?
If you use a credit card because you don't have the money to buy it now, that's probably a good example when it's not to be used.
What is it for?
Credit cards are a great opportunity to track your spending using technology, a great opportunity to build up rewards, so you know how much money you can spend in a month, and
you'd rather emergency. Sorry for interrupting. Emergency.
Best thing for emergency is cash.
Come on.
And
I don't have the cash.
Well, that's one of the first steps is trying to amass a little bit of cash. You have ability to make choices in an emergency that you wouldn't have if you didn't have cash.
Interesting. Good and bad debt. We need to know the difference.
Right.
Ready? Second way to get out of debt. Let's go. Organize your debt using free tools. What's this about?
So there's a plethora of free tools, apps, online, local credit union, where they will help you to look at where your debt is and determine what's high interest rates, what are high payments, and start to categorize your debt to determine how you're going to start to minimize it or get rid of it.
By the way, let's put up some websites that make some sense here. Which ones are we going with? We'll go with your website, right?
Great.
So you're saying there are some places that people can get free information?
That's right. So your credit union will have generally your banking online. You could see real time where you're spending. Whether you spent a lot or a little, take a look at it. Don't be anxious. See what you're spending is real time.
And sticking your head in the sand and saying, I don't want to deal with this, how's that for a strategy?
Not a long-term win. Not a long-term win.
Doesn't win.
Doesn't.
Nothing good happens. Next graphic. Design a spending plan that tracks the ins and outs. Ins and outs of what?
So you know what you're going to make on a regular month. And you want to be conservative when you're determining how much you make on a regular month. Maybe take the last 3 months of pay stubs. And then you look at your outs. What are you going to spend? You know the first of the month, you have utilities, you got a car payment, you may have a mortgage, you may have rent, and you know that's going to be the same every month. Now the difference between that is where you start to look at your spending plan.
Where's the fun money?
The fun money is where the fun
come on, seriously.
Right.
Where you look at the budget, right? I got the ins, I got the outs.
So
where's my I don't know, party, fun, vacation? Where's all that?
That goes under the category of goals.
Goals?
Goals.
Okay, fun is a goal?
Fun is a goal. Absolutely.
Fun's just part of life.
It is.
Even if it costs more than we anticipated and then the bill comes later and we go, oh, how do I pay for that? That's a problem.
Well, I talk to a lot of people who had fun in the beginning and then they have a lot of pain that follows.
Yes.
as opposed to planning out what your goals are. And if your goal is vacation, that's fun. If your goal is to have a steak dinner at a nice restaurant once a week, you should have those things, but plan for them. And when you, at the end of the meal and at the end of the vacation, when it's fully paid for, and you're not paying for it the next 3 years at 18%, it's more fun.
That's a good one, because I have some friends, and I never mention their names because that would be wrong. Then they wouldn't be friends. But I noticed that there are times when we talk about kids, because we all talk about our kids and their education, some of our friends go on the best vacations ever. Best! And I've been in conversations with them talking about the ins and outs, budgeting. I'll say, so what are your plans for the kids in terms of their college education? And they'll say, what? And I say, no, seriously, what have you put away for, if I say the kid's name, they'll know who they are. They'll say, no, we just spent 15 grand on a really great vacation. We went to Hawaii. And I said, I know, but what's the plan for your kids' college education? And that conversation doesn't go anywhere, because sometimes the discussion between college and Hawaii comes in conflict. You know, why are you laughing?
It's true. The next big bubble to burst financially are student loans. This is what the pundits are saying, that the student loan crisis in this country is a sleeping giant. Interest rates are rising, students are borrowing more and more money, and they're ending up with mortgage payments graduating college. It's something that is stifling to a whole generation trying to start a career. They're now out there in a panic looking for a job rather than career searching because they have these incredible loans.
So why are you calling it a crisis? You won't make it sound like 2008 when the other bad thing happened. Are you talking about that kind of thing?
Well, rates are artificially low right now due to the prime being low.
Right.
That's not going to stay that way forever. And these are long-term 20-year loans, and they were taken out at low interest rates, but the paybacks are high. So when the rates creep up quickly...
Bubble burst?
There it goes.
You ready for another graphic?
Sure.
Let's go. What do we got? Expect that it will take longer to get out of debt than it took to get into debt. Go.
That's the tough one. Any good, healthy choice in life we make becomes a lifestyle change, whether it's eating right or being healthy, and financial choices are the same. So it's real easy to get yourself in over your head, but it takes a heck of a lot more time to get out. And it's painful the longer it goes.
Okay, so someone says, get me out of this situation quickly. You're saying, hey, there is no quick fix.
That's right.
But I'm confused here. Someone right now watching who's dealing with a serious financial situation, you're telling them it could also be potentially dangerous to try to get out of it quickly.
Correct.
Because they could do what?
Well, there are a lot of financial predators out there.
Predators?
People who will offer you financial tools that give you quick cash, that will get you in quicker trouble than
I've seen those commercials at 3 in the morning when you can't sleep.
Yes, indeed.
They're
Yes,
dangerous
indeed.
sometimes.
They're dangerous, and they're life-changing. They will lean your assets, your property, and they will charge you enormous interest rates. And a lot of debt is emotion and panic. And when you take a step back from it and realize how you got there, whatever choices you made that got you there, at the time they were good choices. If you shackle yourself to those choices, you can't see clearly going forward.
Right.
And so you put a good spending plan in going forward. Stop spending, number one. To get yourself out of debt, you got to stop making debt. And that's not a today to tomorrow decision. That may be a 45-day, 60-day change.
Can't go cold turkey.
Correct.
Do we have time for one more? Let's go. Surround yourself with role models and professionals to help get you debt-free. Go, you got a minute, real quick.
Life coaches, successful people, talk to them. They've been down these roads. Go to your financial institution, go to your bank, go to your credit union, find a counselor who will talk to you and talk to you about getting in the right lending vehicles. It's so important that you talk to people who were successful. First, it gives you perspective that you're not alone.
Right.
Second, it gives you a course of action that will probably be more effective than if you came up on your own. Visit our website, njcfe.org. It has a whole bunch of great free tools to managing debt.
But don't think you can do it alone.
Cannot do it alone.
Cannot.
It's more
I can
painful.
tough this out.
It's more painful to do it alone. And suffering is always a choice.
Yes. Oh, I like that. Put that on Listen, postcard. Listen, I thank you so much, Michael. It's important information, and we need to deal with it because it's just not going to go away on its own. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Great stuff.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Choose New Jersey, New Jersey Credit Unions, AmeriHealth Caritas, parent company of Perform Care, New Jersey Natural Gas, Activus, in cooperation with the American Medicine Chest Challenge, New Jersey Manufacturers, and by the Russell Berry Foundation. Promotional support provided by the Star Ledger, powering NJ.com, and by Commerce Magazine. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.